You know what's weird? This is the second album dropped in the space of a week, featuring various CKY members. Well, this episode took a turn. Hi people, and hello my Chili Con Carnage crew. It's Chili here from Live Listen and Race, and on this 5-minute review episode we're going over 96 Bitter Beans' newest album, Synergy Restored. Usually a band that takes its name from the song of another band would do so to let people know they are a cover band performing as a tribute to their heroes and inspiration. To my knowledge, I only know of one band that bucks this trend with Godsmack, but now this changes with the former CKY guitarist and singer Deron Miller going on to form his own solo project called 96 Bitter Beans. This name is lifted from CKY's most famous song 96 Quite Bitter Beans and is intended to show that Deron is the king of this style after having a fallout with other CKY guitarist Chad. The only thing I get from this band's name is the need to ride on the coattails of the past success, otherwise who is this band? From what I understand, Deron lost some standing with fans after a crowd-funded album wasn't delivered to expectations, and as such, he started performing covers of his old material. So this leads us to the album, and I would say CKY is a somewhat unique sound of hard rock. Its guitar tone is almost a shoegazer in tone, but it's got an edge to it. This, coupled with their rhythm section and singing, sometimes with keys or synth sections overlaid on top, make for a truly unique sound. I enjoy it, but I've always been under the assumption that once you've heard one of the songs, you kind of heard all of it. It's a generalization, I know, but that's my opinion, I guess. That said, I still enjoy a lot of CKY's songs, and even their first post-Deron album, The Phoenix, but when you look at it, their early stuff isn't exactly varied, and with 96 Bitter Beans on the scene, we now have two bands competing for this sound. To fans of CKY, I'm sure they will froth over this album and the thought that a former member of the band is writing new music, and in particular in style to their older material. And if you are in this camp, pun intended, then good on you. Nothing like hearing new music that is to your style. I have to say, the album itself is okay. Nothing really stands out for me for the first few tracks. I mean, they're okay, but not really great tracks, except for the song Fire Skyline. That's got the right energy and decent hook to it as well. I found the really good tracks, or at least the ones that I truly enjoyed, to be on the latter half of this album. Bedtime Story is unique in that it sounds like an 80s hair metal riff that has been lifted for this song, and it plays into their style quite well. It kind of suits them, to be honest, and at the halfway breakdown riff and drums just sound great, especially paired with that solo. The following song, Blood Rock Mania, is also another high-octane banger that hits right and hits pretty hard. Really, every track after these songs on the rest of the album are very solid songs, and they really saved this album from being just another carbon copy. Some solid tracks in the second half for sure. While Deron's choice in band name might be perceived to some as a power move, I think it's very restrictive. While Deron might want to be known as the best in the style of music, they will only be second fiddle to the original band because they are taking their namesake from the OG, and while they are still around, then Deron will always be in the shadow. It's a terrible decision to name the band as such, in my opinion at least. I mean, it's like if back in the day when Dave Mustaine was fired from Metallica and he decided to call his new band Seek and Destroy. You can see the issues that they're facing. I guess it somehow worked out in the end because, after all, I checked out the band and I didn't know them because of the name alone. And now I have recorded this episode, but the name choice, it just bugs me too much. Like, what were you thinking? Overall, it's an okay album that certainly has some fairly decent hard-hitting tracks. I would give this album a rating 3.5 million chilies on the spicy scale, with standout tracks being Fire Skyline, Bedtime Story, and Blood Rock Mania. Well, if you think I've finished talking about CKY, then think otherwise, as another album review, of course, will be out shortly on the side project band called Sovereign Eagle, which has Jess Majera teaming up with ex-CKY bassist Scott Reeder and Chris Way of Life Once Lost. So stay tuned for that one, and don't forget, subscribe to us. We're a small channel. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and don't forget, stay spicy. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Live Listen Erased. And if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our Chili Con Carnage crew so you can get notified for all the future videos that we put out, as we put out videos every Friday. Also, we are on Discord, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter over at Live Listen Erased, so make sure to tune in over there. And don't forget to like this video so that our manager can stay very happy.